I'm Dr. Alex Loyd, and welcome to the Spiritual Laws of Nature. The spiritual law of nature for today is probably the one that I've had the most clients of mine get hopping mad at me of anything I have ever done in counseling or therapy. And it did happen a lot, where after I taught them this, they were really mad at me. So here's the spiritual law. You always, 100% of the time, do what you believe. You never, 0% of the time, do what you don't believe. And that's it. Everything you do it because you believe you should do it. And you can't do something that you don't believe you should do. So that's what I'd like you to meditate about and work on and pray about this week. And we're going to meet to discuss it on Wednesday, and I hope that you can be there. Why did my clients get mad at me? Because about 75% of them were in that room because of something they were doing that they thought they shouldn't be doing, or something that they weren't doing that they thought they should be doing. So, for instance, lying. I've had a number of clients who were there to see me because they were chronic liars and they couldn't seem to quit lying. So when I told them, well, you're lying because you believe in lying. You believe you should be lying. Well, that was ridiculous to them. That was what was messing up their life more than anything else, in their opinion. That's why they were in my office, because they thought it was wrong and they wanted to stop doing it. So how could it possibly be that they think they should be lying? Well, it's a spiritual principle. You cannot do anything you don't believe you should do. All right? Here's how it works. We have, if you don't know already, I'm genuinely one of the top 10 worst drawers in the world. Okay? My wife is an artist. Okay, so here I am, or here you are, and in the spiritual heart is every memory that has ever happened to you in your life, whether you can remember it or not, every imagination, which is now a memory, some things absorbed from other people, which are now memories, and quite a number of memories inherited from past generations through the egg and the sperm, all right? Which, of course, you don't even know that you have. Now, some of these memories are blue, which means they're positive. And we like those. We don't want to get rid of those. Some of them are green, which are neutral. Well, that's a minus mark. Let's say okay. The green are okay. They aren't doing you a lot of good, but they're not hurting you either. And then the red ones, which are negative and prioritized by the unconscious mind above the green memories and the blue memories. They're really prioritized based on how much adrenaline was released at the time. So if a guy makes the game-winning play to win the big game in high school, massive adrenaline is released. So that's a big issue to him for the rest of his life. But also, if he drops the ball and loses the game, massive adrenaline is released. Only the negative one, where he dropped the ball, is magnified and prioritized by the unconscious mind in a way the positive one isn't. Why? It's part of our spiritual immune system, mental and emotional immune system. It keeps a similar thing from happening to us again that will hurt. Kind of the way our physical immune system works. All right? So you have all of these in you, and here's the thing about beliefs. Let's say about the same issue What could that be? Taking out the garbage. All right, we'll take something trivial. So you've got 3 taking out the garbage, which I'm going to illustrate with a G. You have 3 taking out the garbage memories. Okay? The blue one, the positive one maybe, says, you know what? I should be loving and caring about others, and especially my spouse. So whether I'm asked or not, I should take out the garbage. That would be a good thing for me to do. And I can absolutely have that memory and belief running inside me all the time. I can also have a neutral one that says, taking out the garbage, it's not that big a deal. I can do it. Hope can do it. Harry, George can do it. But somebody will do it. And then I can have a red one that is negative. That is, I don't want to take out the garbage. I don't like to take out the garbage. Let somebody else take out the garbage. I already do enough. I do more than the other people, so that should not be added to me. That should be added to them, etc. Okay? So you see, I've got 3 completely different beliefs about taking out the garbage. All right? Well, you have a similar thing to almost every belief that you have. Okay? I believe I should go to help my neighbor, but the ball game's on. Okay? So, yeah, I believe I should go, but I also believe it's okay for me not to go. Okay? So, about any issue you can name, especially those that are important to you, you probably have not 3, but 300 and almost all variations of belief about that thing. Now, if you were to be asked, well, which of those 300 beliefs would you say are the most positive, the most loving, the ones that would be best for you to do? You can probably name that. All right? But when it comes push to shove, time to take out the garbage, and you're doing several other things, and it's a big hassle at your house to take out the garbage, this memory also comes up and gives you a rational way out, maybe. All right? So, anything you do because you believe, at least at that moment, that that's what you should do. Even if you have another memory saying you shouldn't. All right? Now, if that happens and you have 2 memories or 3 or 10 all saying you should do different things, which one do you actually choose and do? Usually the one that's loudest in that moment. And by loudest, I'm meaning your emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Okay? That's why almost everybody I have ever met has a bad habit that they can't seem to break or an addiction. They know what they want to do. They know what they should do. They know what they believe is right, but they also believe something is pleasurable or may diminish some pain, even if it's just emotional, mental pain, not physical pain. So in that moment, it's kind of which one of those is ringing the loudest bell. Now, is it possible to go against that? Yeah, but usually it only works short term. For a week, 2 weeks, to really change one of these things long term, you would kind of have to force yourself to do it for like 40 days straight. All right? Well, my thing is you don't want to have to force yourself to do it because that almost never works. So what you want is to change your negative beliefs to either neutral or positive, so that when the time comes to take out the garbage, or to decide whether to lie or not, or to be faithful to someone that you want to be faithful or not, that the one ringing the loudest bell will at least be neutral, but hopefully positive, and never the negative one. That's going to lock you into a cycle of negative habits and addictions. Some of the best research on this came out in studies they were doing on watching pornography and the internal effects with our mind, our emotions, our feelings, our chemicals, our hormones when watching pornography. And what they found was so interesting to me, because basically what they found, here's my takeaway. If you do something that is fear-based, then it turns the failure switch on in the mind and brain, and certain negative chemicals are released that you feel. Cortisol, things like that, adrenaline. On the other hand, if you do something that you believe is positive and love-based, it activates the success response in the brain. And you have oxytocin, endorphins, peptides, all these positive things released, and you can't stop it if you want to. Okay? It's made by the unconscious mind. All right? But when you imagine for some length of time doing something that you believe is wrong for you to do, it activates both the oxytocin and endorphins and the adrenaline and cortisol. In other words, it creates a tidal wave of internal chemicals, emotions, feelings, thoughts that is like almost taking heroin or meth. It is an emotional tidal wave that really pulls you in to do it again and again and again. And I believe that's one of the reasons that internet porn may be the biggest addiction on the planet right now. Okay? But it's because of this. But this applies not just to that, but anytime you're imagining doing something that you believe is wrong and doing it for a seek pleasure, avoid pain reason. It activates both. You have this tidal wave, which makes you much more likely to do the negative. Okay? So what's the solution? The solution is you've got to heal the negative memories that are resonating a destructive fear-based signal, and then choose to live in love in the present moment for the next 30 minutes as best you can, regardless of the circumstances, and do what you believe you should do. Right now, some of you have so many of these that get activated when you think about something you would consider doing that you believe is wrong, which comes from a belief, okay? Some of you have so many of those that it's almost impossible for you to make the choice not to do that thing that you're imagining doing that you believe is wrong. It's almost impossible because the tidal wave of chemicals is just too strong. All right? So a couple of things I would do. I would go back to the greatest principle and make sure that you are really choosing the path of love and success for your life and not the other path. And then if you need more help, then get out some of our tools, Trilogy, Memory Engineering, Rapid Eye Stress Release. I believe the best tools have ever been available on planet Earth. And these things a lot of times work in a matter of minutes, not months or years, but for sure faster than most other things out there. In order to heal these negative beliefs that you have that are conflicting with the positive beliefs or neutral that are the way that you wanted to live your life. Okay? So, one insight that I would think you would have if you really do take this seriously this week is that the negative things you are doing that you feel like are messing up your life, or the positive things that you're not doing you're doing that because at least at the moment, you believe that's the best thing for you to do. Now, sometimes that's, oh, well, I'll get some pleasure right now and I'll start that tomorrow. And then tomorrow never comes, okay? But if you're doing it or not doing it, it's because you do have a belief, even if it's wrong, that that's the right thing to do. So that belief needs to be changed. I'd pray, use the tools, go back to the love code, the greatest principle, and make sure you're living on that love path. All right? So you always do what you believe, no exceptions. So if you're doing something you believe you shouldn't be doing, you got a wrong belief that has to be changed, or you'll keep repeating that cycle. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful, blessed day.